Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division with various wins. Before we have a closer look at all the content, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. For those of you that do want to take the next step in your game and improve it even more, scan the QR code that is here on the screen or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy you can find in the description down below. That will take you to our platform where you can find all our premium guides, checkpoint challenge, tour play, and tournament play. Last but not least, the info box on the right hand side gives you the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also a ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. On hole number 8, this is a par 3 where you will, par 4 where you will benefit massively if you do have a lot of curl on your club. If you don't have that, then you're gonna have a problem. So what we're going to do here now is to get our ball down the right hand side here to get as far down as possible. So what I'm doing, I'm putting my target almost to max, favoring obviously being on the right side. And now we are going to adjust max plus 10. And we are doing all the curl to the right, and I'm doing circle drop over power. So the idea here now is to cut the corner using all the side spin that we can together with the little amount of topspin that we're having. Obviously more topspin, the better it's going to be. But now we're putting ourselves in a position where we're going to have a short iron or a long iron to pin with not that much downhill elevation. Because if you're going to play on the left hand side here, you will most likely put yourself in a spot where you're going to have such a downhill elevation that it's going to be such a difficult shot to attack the pin from distance. On the second shot, you can see here now that we either have a long iron or a short iron. So in this instance, we are going to have to look for a spot where, I mean, we can go for a rough bump here, but we don't really have the topspin needed, way more topspin to do so. So I decide to go with side spin, and I'm gonna go with backspin. The reason for the side spin is to allow to start further back. Obviously with a thorn that do not have a fully developed ball guideline, it's gonna be a lot of guesswork. This is gonna be an elevation that is plus 20, and we're gonna play true club distance. So here in this instance we're playing very close to max line. Center the ball, hit perfect, and you should be around the hole. Obviously the better short iron you have, meaning the better ball guideline you have, the easier it's going to be for you to attack this pin from distance. And in a worst case scenario, you're putting yourself like that and you're gonna have a tap in putt for the birdie. For hole number 2, we're gonna play a very downhill shot here, and we're going to go with 3 left spin, and it's gonna be ending up to be 2 top spin. Sure, I'm aiming with the first bounce on the fairway above the rough, but that's not really the spot that I do want here. I do want to be able to aim at the hole, which I do think is key. In the end, not 2 topspin, 1.5 bar topspin, and 3 left spin. Yellow ring by the rough line with ball guideline to the hole. Here in the video, I do adjust max plus 50, almost Swedish, but we're gonna play medium distance plus 50 instead. Center the ball and hit perfect, and you're gonna give yourself a solid chance to attack the pin on this very tough par 3. You see it bounces on the fairway, over the rough, and in between the rough and the sand there, and then missing on the right, but obviously that makes sense as we adjusted the wrong numbers. Hole number 3, and now we're going to take advantage of playing from the front tee, which what I mean is to play directly with our first bounce on the final fairway island on the top right. And playing from the second and the third tee, you're always forced to play on the fairway island before that one, which obviously creates a much harder atmosphere on this tough par 5. Adjustment max plus 10, all the side spin to the left and half a bar of top spin. Goal is to get as close to the rough line as possible and still obviously give ourselves room for making mistakes. So we push it as hard as we can, because the goal here now is to be in wood club range so we can reach with our sniper, because the second shot is somewhat dependent on having a good ball guideline if you're going to see yourself having a good chance for the albatross. There is a little sticky spot there, you can see I'm looking for that one, which in the end makes me have to reduce a little bit of side spin. So I would recommend to add all the side spin that you have and then move to look for that sticky spot, and then you tweak the side spin and allow yourself to be into that spot, because that will increase your chances to do an albatross. Topspin will vary depending on how far you go with your drive. Adjustment here in the video, I play max plus 10, which is a clear mistake, because this is not a shot that needs a downhill elevation. It needs no elevation at all, which also the reason why I do miss on the left hand side with this shot. Comes in with a lovely speed though, and if I would have just adjusted properly, which, I mean, we all make mistakes, but if I would have adjusted properly, that would have been a very good chance. White Cliffs, one of the par 3s here. This is a very difficult one. What I do recommend is to play with the Guardian here to allow us to bounce on the fairway just by the green. If bouncing on the fairway just before the water, what that would mean is that you're going to put the bunker by the green massively in play. Obviously you put the water in play as well, but especially the bunker by the green is definitely cost for a lot of birdies instead of, sorry, a lot of pars instead of getting the birdie. Because this is how I see this hole. I see this one as a birdie hole where an outside chance of an hole in one. All the backspin that I can with my Guardian level 4 and 1 bar of right spins. Playing with a mauling because I do not feel that it's worth wasting a premium ball on this hole, because getting this one in the hole is going to be very difficult. Getting it very close though, with the adjustment of maximum distance with a 30% over adjustment and a marlin. Take your game to the next level with our ultimate tournament text guides for expert and master division for the League of Leagues 9-hole cup, a full 9 of the White Cliffs, which is a course that we have played before, which means that the content will be even more dialed than what it usually is, especially if we would be having a new course. So if you are looking to get an advantage over your opponents, give yourself a chance to practice less and still be competitive and such, earn money on investing in guides, then you scan the QR code here on the screen, or you go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy via the link that is in the description down below. In Expert, we cater to Apocalypse level 4 plus as our main driver, and in Master is Apocalypse level 5 plus combined with Extra Mile level 9. Free to play balls and paid balls, so you do not have to have the best equipment there is in the game to still follow our brilliant content. If you're looking for other types of guides, we do have premium guides for all the game modes, such as Checkpoint Challenge and Tour Play guides as well, especially the Tour Play guides, exclusive Tour Shootout guide for Tour 7 up to Tour 13, like the Golden Shot, gives you a way of attacking the pin consistently regardless what wind angle. So take yourself the chance and become a better Golf Clash player with our big community. So again, scan the QR code on the screen or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy in the description down below. Get yourself to our package page and you sign up from there. On the drive here in hole number 5 of the White Cliffs, we're gonna go down the right hand side. This, in my opinion, is a difficult par 5 in the headwind, and especially for those of you that are forced to play with as maximum a power 3 ball and also with, you know, intermediate to low level clubs. Aiming straight down the fairway, I'm using a little bit of overpower to help the ball roll as far down as possible. I mean, the more you can push it to the right, the better. So what I mean here is that the closer you can be to the rough line on the right, the better it's going to be. Adjust max with no elevation here on the drive. Second shot, extremely important that you pack the wood club that gives you the most power and also the most topspin. For me, that is Big Dog. But any other club that has better, like has the power and has more topspin is definitely the one to go with, because here we are doing our very best to get ourselves close to the green. Now we need to be realistic with the fact that with a headwind, even though it's a very low headwind, we are going to have to go max overpower with a power 3 ball more or less every single time. And with very bad accuracy clubs such as the big dog, we need to be a little bit lucky if we do hit a great ball. And in this case, this is as far as we get with a big dog level 6 and all the top spin and max overpower. So with all of that in mind, what you need to have in mind that are playing this particular hole is like, if you have the possibility to play with a power 4 or a power 5 ball, then it's extremely important that you are using that ball. Obviously, I mean, important. I want you to use that ball to give yourself a chance to not have to have a wedge towards the pin. Because especially if we're playing with wedges that do not really have a good ball guideline, it's going to be a lot of guesswork, and we want to obviously minimize the amount of guessing we do want to do. Though those of you that do have the possibility to play with a wedge with a good ball guideline, such as a Firefly or an Endbringer, Rapier and stuff like that, then this wedge will not be as difficult as it will be with a skewer, as here we have to completely guess the rollout, and it always feels a little bit lucky that we are getting that one to drop. So, hole number 5 of the White Cliff will always be a difficult one, but with better gear, with better ball, you're definitely seeing yourself getting an eagle in a much easier way. Is this by any means an albatross chance? Not really. And that's obviously not really as fun to play when it comes to this hole. All right, White Cliffs here again, another par 4, and now we're going to play with a ball that do have side spin 3. I think that is an absolute must, and the reason I think that is due to the fact that we do want to get over to the right side of the fairway. Having to play straight down the fairway and being further away from the pin is going to be a much more difficult drop than what it would be here by playing down the right. So that's why I'm playing aggressive, and that's why that's going to be my focus here in this video. I do make an adjustment of maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment using all the top spin that I have and all the side spin, and then using all the curl as well. You can see that I've used a little bit more than half a ball to the right. Overpower, whatever you adjust into. Second shot is then going to be with a thorn, and here you have a decision to make. Either you're going to go for a dunk by using all the backspin that you have, or that you have your first bounce on the fringe to allow yourself to actually use the ball guideline even though your club level is very low. One thing to have in mind here though is that when you do play with a club that you have a very low level and a bad ball guideline, then you will have to leave the ball guideline short, because doing like I do at the video is going to be many of the time a recipe for failure, because as I do not have a fully developed ball guideline, I should be leaving it short, because otherwise I have a risk coming in too hot. So you will notice that even if I drop this shot here now, I come in very hot and actually a bit lucky that it do drop. Medium distance, or not really medium distance, it's going to be somewhere around minimum and medium distance on this shot, and always minus 20% elevation, because it's an uphill adjustment, so it's not going to be much adjustment to make. But you could also see how hot I came in, so make sure to leave the ball guideline short if you do not have a good ball guideline with your short iron. Hole number 7 of White Cliff, which is hole number 8 in the Superstar 9-hole Cup, is a very difficult par 3. Here I play with the sniper. The ball guideline is super helpful here, using a little bit more than 4 bars of backspin and 3 right spin, so max backspin with sniper 7. Ball guideline to go slightly past the hole, but the only reason I'm aiming past the hole is due to having a slight headwind component on my shot. 1-to-1, that's why I'm now having no elevation in the box. I'm playing 1-to-1, so 1.9 range for 1.9 miles per hour. Bounces on the fairway up towards the green, and then coming in a little bit short, but that's really close for being this par 3. I mean, I can sit here and say that I wanted to obviously have a hole-in-one, but I'm not losing any sleep over getting a birdie on this very tough par 3. For hole number 4, what we are going to decide to do here is to play down the fairway on the left. And the reason I'm doing that is to make sure that even if I do have a crappy drive and end up into the rough or sand, I'm still having an easy time to reach from there. Because the other way of playing is to bounce up towards the fairway island that you do have on the right side. But the problem you have from there is that if you do get into the rough or sand with that drive, you will not reach to the green in 2. Medium distance plus 10 because we're not playing from max distance. 3 right spin, and using as well all the top spin here on an extra mile level 6. Ball comes down the fairway nicely, and even though we're playing with a close line by the rough, it's still staying on the fairway. But again, I'm playing a little bit closer to the rough lines like that, just to avoid myself having an issue that if I make a crappy drive on the right, that I at least now could reach for the green. Now, playing with the Goliath, here I would recommend to play with the long iron that gives you the best possible ball guideline, because that will help immensely when it comes to knowing if you're gonna come in too hot or too short. In this instance, I'm leaving the ball guideline short and too short for getting a drop. Obviously, I knew that after I took the shot, so it's hard to correct that from the beginning. So make sure to study that, make sure to do your best and judge and make your best educated guess. 10% elevation through club distance, and if I would have just kept the ball guideline closer, would have been getting ourselves a chance for a drop. In the end, we end up with a safe birdie and move on. On hole number 5, we are going to play the Porthello Cove hole number 9, one of the tougher par 5s that we do have in the game. So what we're going to do is to either go left hand side or we're going to play on the right. It depends on the wind. If you do have a tailwind, push on the left. If you do have a crosswind or a headwind, or just not feel confident with going on the left, then we are going on the right. The idea here is to get this ball to stop in time before it catches the massive downslope, and then that's going to be a pretty big issue for us. I'm using a Kingmaker here. I would recommend that if you have the possibility to play with a power 4 or 5 ball, use that instead, because that will just help you on the second shot. You see, we bounce on the fairway up here, and we're making sure with the backspin that we're stopping in time before the bunker. On the second shot, I'm gonna play this one purely for an eagle. I'm using all the top spin that I can together with the 3 left spin. So I'm backing up here now. I'm gonna leave the second bounce just by the edge of the rough line, because my plan here is actually bounce into the rough to then roll out. Why do I do that? It's because especially with this type of wind, we are going to struggle massively in terms of getting this ball to actually attack the pin. So we are playing this one purely for an eagle, and we're doing so by clipping the rough with the second bounce to then roll out. You can see here like that, it bounces and then it roll out, and we do have a very simple wedge to lock in the eagle. Obviously no chance for an albatross, but I mean, this is such a tough one, and it would require a big boy clubs and ball if you're gonna give yourself a solid opportunity here on hole number 5. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this playthrough for Rookie Division with various wins. If you do want to improve your game even more, scan the QR code here on the screen or go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy via the link in the description down below. Last but not least, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications. Those 3 things will help the channel immensely. Thank you once again for watching. I wish you the best of luck in the Golf Clash game.